There's a kind of story that doesn't end. It just gets quieter. You think it's gone until it brushes against your skin again, soft as static. A song you thought you dreamed, a message on a tape that wasn't there before. Some things don't stop, they just wait for silence. Good evening and welcome back. It's a quiet night on the mountain, clouds rolling low, air thick with memory. Some nights you find yourself thinking about the things you didn't say, or the things you said too softly. A voice on the line you haven't heard in a while, a moment that ended before it answered the question you weren't brave enough to ask. If any of that feels familiar, you're not alone tonight. This is WHAT 98.1 AM, broadcasting from nowhere. There's something about this one. It always finds its way back when the night turns quiet. This is The Night We Met by Lord Huron. That was In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. Before that, Hold Me While You Wait, and we began the set with The Night We Met. You ever get that feeling like you're watching your own life from just outside the frame? Not far, just far enough that you can't reach in and stop yourself from making the same mistake again. I think most people imagine they'll say the thing when it matters, that they'll rise to the occasion, find the words, stand in the doorway, and not let it close. But most of the time, it's not like that. Most of the time, the moment slips away without a sound, and later, maybe years later, you hear a voice or a song, or someone laughs just like they did, and suddenly it's right there again. Not the moment itself, just the part of you that wanted to stay in it. Some nights it feels louder, quiet, I mean. Maybe that's just the way it is when the weather turns, or maybe some people take up more space in your heart when the world is still. I don't know. I don't really sleep much these days, but that's neither here nor there. We've got a line lit up. Let's take a call.
Hi, it's Riley. I called last week about the lightning strike at Old Stone Hollow.
I remember. What's on your mind tonight?
I went back. The cairn's still blasted apart, but the ground isn't the same. The sigil, the mark burned into the dirt, it's changed.
Changed in what way?
The lines don't match what I saw last time. Some have stretched, some shifted, and there are marks I swear weren't there before. I brought my sketch from last week. It doesn't line up anymore. It's close, but it's wrong. Out of tune.
That's not the kind of thing you expect to move.
The new lines, I recognized them. I don't know from where, but when I looked down, they didn't feel wrong. They felt expected.
Expected how?
Like they were always supposed to be there, just waiting for someone to notice. And every time I go back, it's different again. Every time I think I understand a little bit more.
That's a strong pull for a mark in the dirt.
I keep tracing the lines when I'm not there. On paper, on my arm, in the air. Half the time I don't realize I'm doing it until it's already there.
And it's finding its way into your days.
Maybe some things aren't meant to stay buried. Maybe they're just waiting for someone to notice. I'll call back if it changes more.
That was Riley. Sometimes I wonder if the ground remembers more than we do. If it can't help but shift, even after we've decided the story's finished. Marks in the earth shouldn't move, and if they do, we should be careful about what they're trying to say. If you're listening tonight, Mr. Keats, keep your notes close. She's not the only one paying attention. We'll be taking a short break for a word from our sponsors, and another uninterrupted block of music waits on the other side. Stay with us.
At Widdershins and Widdershins, we understand that the law can be complicated, especially when the law insists on existing simultaneously in several centuries. Perhaps your great-grandfather promised away your soul in a fit of youthful enthusiasm. Perhaps your late aunt has left her estate to whoever finds the candle still burning. Or perhaps you've discovered that your house has inherited you. Don't worry, we've seen it all, and we've billed for most of it. Our firm has handled temporal disputes since before calendars were nailed down in their current order. We arbitrate hauntings. We negotiate with incorporeal landlords and specialize in binding agreements that continue to bind even after the unfortunate death of the client. If it follows you home, we can help. Widdershins and Widdershins, binding contracts since before the flood. And if you're wondering which flood, well, so are our competitors.
That was Riptide by Vance Joy. Before that, Still Remains from Stone Temple Pilots, and we began with Moondogs, High on a Rocky Ledge. Funny how songs can walk the same road in such different ways. One steps off the edge to follow what's already gone. One burns straight through and doesn't ask permission. And one comes racing up the path, grinning, bright as a porch light you forgot you left on. From up here tonight, the shore looks restless. The tide keeps pushing higher, spilling over the rocks and pulling back again, as if it can't quite decide what it wants. In town, the streetlights blinked on in uneven rows, some quick, some late, waiting on a cue only they seem to hear. It's a restless night, and everything seems to be leaning forward. This is WHAT 98.1 AM. You're here, I'm here, and the lines are open. Let's take a call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Vera. It's Camille from Old Cedar Hill.
Camille, it's good to hear your voice. What can I do for you tonight?
Well, something new showed up this morning, out near the western fence line, past the angel with the broken wing.
A grave?
Yes. I've had 4 this year that weren't on the register, and 3 last year. This one's different.
How so?
Usually the stone has a name. Sometimes it's one I don't recognize. Sometimes it's mine. But I just smooth the soil, say the prayer, and things stay quiet. This one, there's no name at all. And the soil isn't fresh. It's settled, like it's been there a while. But it wasn't there yesterday.
You're sure?
I weed that row every Thursday. It wasn't there.
Did your companions reacted to it at all?
They won't go near it. The fawn wouldn't come out of the shed. The crow flew straight into the kitchen window, and Dusty growled.
Dusty growled?
Not once in all these years, not until this morning. I brought lilies like always, but when I knelt down, something was already there, just sitting on the stone.
What did you find?
A feather, black, burned at the edges, not scorched, burned clean, split right down the spine.
Ooh, you didn't touch it, did you?
No, it didn't feel like it wanted to be moved, and I try not to argue with things that don't have voices.
Fair enough. Did anything else happen?
I had a dream, someone whispering from under the soil. I couldn't see them, but they sounded close. They said, "I'm not done yet."
All right. I'll check the map, see if anything's shifted. In the meantime, salt the gateposts, just in case.
Already done. Thank you, Vera.
Of course. Call back if anything changes.
I will.
She doesn't call often, and when she does, I listen. If you're the sort who keeps track of things, tonight might be worth writing down. We'll take a quick break here. On the other side, a new block of music, the Postal Service, the church, and more still to come tonight. Stay with me.
Coming this Friday night at the Starlight Drive-In, a special double feature under the stars. First up, the cult classic, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. They're red, they're round, and they're rolling right for you. Followed by Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Twice the fun, twice the trouble, and twice the questionable decisions made by small-town law enforcement. 2 films, 1 night, 1 ticket price. Bring a blanket, bring a friend, maybe don't bring a salad. And as always, Mike, Kevin, and Bill remain banned from the premises. No exceptions. They know what they did. The Starlight Drive-In Theater, where the pictures are big, the popcorn is hot, and the bands are permanent.
That was Since I Don't Have You by the Skyliners. Before that, Under the Milky Way from the church. And we began with the Postal Service, We Will Become Silhouettes. Together, they carry the kind of quiet that doesn't settle, the kind that follows you around, even when the last note's gone. I heard from someone in town that the payphone outside the bus depot has started ringing again. No one's ever seen anyone answer it. They say it only rings late when the streets are empty, and anyone who tries to get close swears it stops before they can lift the receiver. The depot itself has been busier than usual, though I couldn't tell you why. The schedules never seem to match what's written on the board, but the buses keep coming through. Some nights, it feels like they arrive from farther away than a map can show. Before we take another call, we've been asked to read this notice from the Nowhere Parks and Public Spaces Committee regarding the fenced-off area behind the old community pool, known locally as the Kiddie Kingdom. Decorative ride activity has been logged as recently as 2355 hours by park staff conducting off-season maintenance reviews. Children are reminded not to enter the area, regardless of daylight or supervision. Though the decorative rides appear non-functional, they continue to operate intermittently after dark. No power source has been located. If you hear music coming from the area, do not approach. Walk away calmly and do not look toward the sound. Any child who enters the Kiddie Kingdom will be reported. Any child who returns from the Kiddie Kingdom may require observation. That was a message from the Parks and Public Spaces Committee. Let's get back to the phones. You're on WHAT 98.1 AM.
Hi, Vera. It's Ellie.
Hello, Ellie. Good to hear your voice again.
I stayed up late so I can listen again.
I'm glad you did. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I was sketching earlier, just doodling in my notebook. And when I looked down, I'd drawn something I don't remember seeing. It was a necklace. Silver chain, kind of thin, but broken. One side curled up, like it had been pulled too hard. And in the middle was a pendant. Oval, dark glass, like a mirror, but cloudy.
Can you tell me more about it?
That's the strange part. While I was drawing it, I kept thinking about a man sitting on a bench. Not my memory, somebody else's.
Someone else's memory coming through you. And what did you do with the sketch?
I left it on the desk. It doesn't feel like mine to keep. Sometimes things just arrive, and then they go.
Do they ever come back?
No, they find someone else.
Thank you, Ellie. Sleep well tonight. That was Ellie. Always good to hear from her. The night's starting to slip toward morning. Not quite there yet, but you can feel it in the air, like the town's already exhaling. Lights dropping out one by one, and even the stars seem to be keeping their distance. It's the long stretch before dawn, when everything feels worn thin. You notice the empty chairs more than the ones that are filled, and even familiar voices can sound a little far away. We'll let the music carry us through this part. First up, Hank Williams III with Ghost to a Ghost, and more waiting on the other side. That was Dionysus and Olivia Ruiz. Before that, This Too Shall Pass from OK Go. Strange company for one another. A growl, a reminder, and a spark that flickers just out of reach. But somehow they hold together when you hear them side by side. Nights like this, it feels like everything has a half-life. Songs, voices, even the hours themselves, glowing for a while before they slip away. You catch what you can, and the rest lingers in fragments. And speaking of fragments, there are a few messages waiting on the machine tonight. Let's play them now.
Vera, honey, this is Sandy out past the mill pond where the pavement quits on you. Now listen, I've been telling everybody for a year that I couldn't keep my goats in the barn because of whatever was shuffling around in there at night. Big as a man, smelled like a river in August, eyes like a possum. I board that place up. Goats still won't go near it. Had to keep them in the dog pen, which they did not appreciate. Well, last night, here comes this fella, Jimbo. Shows up in a van painted up like some kind of a rock album cover. Flames, monsters, the whole thing. Hair down his back. Jeans tighter than Sin Girl. Carrying a toolbox in one hand and what looked like a leaf blower in the other. He said he'd take care of it. So I cracked a beer and watched. He goes in, all swagger, and I swear to God I heard that thing hiss like a busted tire. 10 minutes later, Jimbo comes back out, smoke pouring behind him like the barn caught on fire. Except it didn't. He wiped his hands, tells me it's clear. And wouldn't you know it, my goats walked right in tonight like nothing ever happened. First time in a year. So if anybody's listening who's got trouble, barn, attic, crawl space, doesn't matter. Call Jimbo. He'll strut in, blow it up, and strut right back out. That's all. Night, Vera.
I tried fire like you said, and iron and salt. It laughed at the salt, didn't even flinch at the rest. It knows my name now. Not the one I was born with, but the other one. The one we buried with it. If Cal's out there, I get it now. That's all.
That was Russell. It's hard to sit here with words like those. You want to reach for the rest of the story, to ask another question, but the line's already gone quiet. Some silences need a second pair of eyes, and some records ought to be checked before they fade. The night's nearly done now. Soon the town will wake to its own rhythm again. Doors opening, coffee brewing, the ordinary things that stitch a day together. I'll stay here, as always, keeping the signal steady. Thank you for spending these hours with me. Whether you're awake or half dreaming, whether you're here in town or farther off, you've kept me company, and I'm grateful for it. Until next time, good night.
Hey, it's Dustin. If you're still listening, that means something to us. This show is held together by string and static and people like you. So if you liked what you heard tonight, do us a kindness, subscribe, leave a review, or share the signal with someone who likes strange things. And if you want to help us keep the station running, come find us on Patreon. That's how we keep the lights on, the stories coming, and the static from swallowing us whole. Appreciate you. See you next time.